The life you desire is not a matter of luck, it is a matter of process. For too long, the art of manifestation has been shrouded in mystery, seeming like a magical gift bestowed upon a select few. But what if it were not a gift, but a skill? What if attracting prosperity was as systematic and repeatable as learning to play an instrument or training for a marathon? The truth is, there is a simple, powerful, and elegant method for turning your desires into your reality. This book demystifies the process, breaking it down into 5 clear, practical steps that you can incorporate into your daily routine. This is not about wishful thinking. It is a daily practice for deliberately creating a life of abundance, designed to align your energy, focus your mind, and make you a magnet for success. The 5-step manifestation method, a daily practice for attracting prosperity, written and published by Success Attraction Formula. Chapter 1. Clarifying Desires with Absolute Precision. A man once found himself lost deep within a vast, unfamiliar forest. As dusk began to settle, panic set in. His only thought, his only desire, was a vague and desperate plea. "I just want to get out of here." He ran frantically, first in one direction, then another, his movements chaotic and fueled by fear. With no clear target, he was simply expending his energy, deepening his state of being lost. Now imagine a different scenario. Another person, lost in the same forest, takes a moment to climb the tallest tree. From that vantage point, they spot a single, distant mountain peak glowing in the last rays of sunlight. Suddenly, their desire is no longer a vague plea. It is a specific, tangible target. Every step they take is now deliberate, measured, and aligned with that one clear intention. They are no longer just running from where they are moving toward where they want to be. This story holds the key to the first and most foundational step of the manifestation method. You cannot attract a fuzzy target. Before you can harness the immense power of your creative mind, you must first give it a destination. You must clarify your desires with absolute precision. To grasp why clarity is so critical, it helps to think of the unseen world as a field of pure potential, what some call the quantum field. This field contains the potential for everything you could ever desire, but it remains in a state of formless energy until it is given a clear instruction. Your focused mind, your conscious attention, acts as the powerful observer that collapses this wave of potential into a specific particle-based reality. A vague desire is like looking at this field with unfocused, blurry eyes. The energy remains indistinct and fails to take form, like a radio tuned to static. A crystal-clear intention, however, is like focusing a powerful laser beam onto the field. This coherent light organizes the energy, giving it the specific blueprint it needs to manifest in your physical world. Clarity, therefore, is not just a preference. It is a fundamental requirement of the physics of creation. The primary challenge people face at this stage is that their desires are often a confusing mix of vague wishes, societal expectations, and reactions against what they do not want. A person might say, "I want to be successful," but this is not a true desire. It is an abstract concept. What does success look like, feel like, sound like, and smell like to you, specifically? Another person might say, "I just don't want to be broke anymore." This, too, is not a clear intention. It is a statement of resistance against a current reality. The universe does not respond to what you are running from. It responds to the clear signal of what you are moving toward. This first step requires you to move from being a passive wisher to a deliberate architect of your desires. It is the process of drawing a detailed, beautiful blueprint for the reality you intend to build. This process begins with a simple question you must ask yourself with radical honesty. What do I truly authentically want? Not what your parents want for you, not what you see on social media, but what would bring a feeling of genuine joy, expansion, and fulfillment to your soul. To uncover this, you can use a powerful exercise called the why ladder. Start with a surface-level desire. For instance, I want a new high-paying job. Now ask yourself why. Your first answer might be, because I want more money. Ask again, why do I want more money? The answer might be, so I can pay my bills without stress and go on a nice vacation. Ask again, why do I want to pay my bills without stress and go on vacation? The answer might be, because I want to feel secure and experience a sense of freedom and adventure. And one final time, why do I want to feel secure, free, and adventurous? The answer might be, because that is my authentic state of being. That is who I truly am. In just a few steps, you have moved from an external goal, a job, to a core intrinsic desire, the feeling of secure freedom. This core feeling is the true target. The job is just one of many possible vehicles to deliver that feeling. Once you have identified the core feeling you are after, you must then build a detailed sensory blueprint of your desire. This is where you bring your desire to life in your mind with all 5 senses. If your desire is a beautiful new home that embodies the feeling of security and peace, your blueprint would not just be a nice house. It would be a detailed paragraph describing the experience of being there. For example, I am standing in the living room of my new home. I can see the warm afternoon sunlight streaming through the large windows, illuminating the dust motes dancing in the air. I can smell the faint scent of fresh paint and new wood. I can hear the gentle sound of leaves rustling in the trees outside my window. I can feel the smooth, cool texture of the hardwood floor beneath my bare feet. And as I stand here, I am filled with a profound and unshakable feeling of peace, safety, and gratitude. This is my sanctuary. I am home. This sensory blueprint is not just a wish list. It is a vibrational command. By describing your desire with such precision, you are creating a detailed pattern in the field of pure potential. You are giving the universe the exact coordinates for the reality you wish it to deliver. To deepen this clarity even further, you can conduct a future self interview. This is a powerful journaling exercise where you imagine you have already achieved your desire and you are now interviewing this successful, fulfilled version of yourself. Find a quiet space and begin to write out the conversation. Ask your future self specific and insightful questions. You might ask, what was the single most important mindset shift you made that allowed this to happen? What was the biggest fear you had to overcome, and how did you find the courage to face it? What does an average Tuesday feel like for you now? What advice would you give to me, your past self, who is just starting on this journey? Allow the answers to flow onto the page without judgment. You will be astonished at the wisdom, clarity, and specific guidance that emerges from this process. This exercise does more than just clarify your desire. It makes it feel real, tangible, and achievable. It provides you with a personalized roadmap, written by the one person who knows exactly how to get there, you. Consider the story of a woman named Clara, who felt stuck in a life that was not her own. Her desire was a vague, I want to change. For years, nothing changed. Then she dedicated herself to this first step of clarification. Through the why ladder, she discovered that her core desire was not just change, but the feeling of creative expression and independence. She then created her sensory blueprint. It was a vivid scene of her waking up in her own small apartment in a new city, the smell of coffee brewing, and spending her morning writing a novel on her laptop, feeling a deep sense of purpose and freedom. To make it even more real, she conducted a future self interview. In her journal, she asked her future, successful author self for advice. The answer that flowed onto the page was clear. Stop waiting for permission. The only thing holding you back is your belief that you need someone else's approval. Start writing the book that only you can write, just for the joy of it. That joyful energy is what will attract your success, not the struggle. This insight was a breakthrough. She realized her desire for change was being blocked by her need for external validation. This clarity gave her the courage to start saving money, to research new cities, and most importantly, to begin writing in her spare time, not for an imaginary audience, but for herself. The blueprint was no longer a dream. It was a plan, infused with the wisdom of her own higher self. You now have a crystal clear, authentic, and emotionally compelling blueprint of your destination. This is the solid foundation upon which the entire manifestation method is built. But a blueprint is just a drawing until you can see and feel the finished building in your mind's eye, as if it were already real. How do you transform this static, two-dimensional plan into a living, breathing, three-dimensional reality that your subconscious mind will accept as truth? In the next chapter, we will master the second step of the method, the powerful daily practice of visualization. Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula. Give this video a like and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 2. Visualizing Prosperity as Daily Practice. What if you could live in your dream future for 10 minutes every single day, long before it ever arrives in your physical reality? What if you could rehearse your success so perfectly and so consistently that its eventual appearance felt less like a surprise and more like a familiar homecoming? This is not a fantasy. It is the essence of visualization, the second and most dynamic step in the 5-step manifestation method. While the first step was about creating a clear blueprint, this step is about taking that blueprint and building a full multisensory simulation in the powerful workshop of your mind. It is the daily practice of experiencing your desired reality now, and it is the key to rewiring your brain and tuning your energy to the frequency of your goal. The primary challenge people face with visualization is that they treat it as a passive and inconsistent daydream rather than an active and disciplined practice. They might close their eyes and vaguely think about their desire for a moment, but their mind wanders. The feeling is not there, and they quickly give up, concluding that it doesn't work. This is like going to the gym once, lifting a small weight a couple of times, and then declaring that exercise is ineffective. Visualization, like physical exercise, builds strength through consistency and intensity. The power of this practice lies in its effect on your brain and your body. Your subconscious mind, which governs your habits, your perceptions, and your autonomic nervous system, does not distinguish between a real experience and a vividly imagined one. When you consistently and emotionally visualize yourself living in your desired reality, your brain begins to create new neural pathways, essentially building the neurological architecture for that new life before it even happens. Your body releases the same neurochemicals, the dopamine of reward, the serotonin of well-being, as if you were actually experiencing the event. This daily practice serves a critical psychological function related to what is known as state-dependent memory. This principle states that the things we learn or experience in a particular emotional or physiological state are most easily recalled when we are back in that same state. By consistently practicing the elevated emotional state of your success in a calm, focused visualization session, you are making that state profoundly familiar to your brain and body. Later, when you are out in the real world and a high-stakes opportunity arises, your brain can instantly access the confidence, clarity, and resourcefulness you have rehearsed. You will be able to perform at your peak under pressure because you have trained for it. You are no longer hoping for success. You have a deeply ingrained memory of it. Through this daily practice, you are training your nervous system to be comfortable with a new, higher level of success and abundance. Many people subconsciously fear the success they desire because it is unfamiliar. This internal resistance can sabotage their efforts. But by visiting your desired future every single day in your mind, you make the unfamiliar familiar. You normalize success. You make prosperity feel like home. So when it does arrive in your physical world, your entire system welcomes it with open arms, rather than rejecting it out of fear of the unknown. The core of this step is the creation and daily rehearsal of what we will call your mind's eye movie. This is a short, vibrant, 60-second mental movie clip of the end result of your desire. It is not a long, complicated story about how you got there. It is a focused, powerful scene of the victory lap. Using the sensory blueprint you created in the last chapter, you will now bring it to life. To supercharge this practice, you can create a sensory immersion chamber for your daily ritual. This goes beyond a simple vision board. It involves engaging multiple senses to drop you into your desired state as quickly and deeply as possible. You could create a specific playlist of songs that evoke the feeling of your success. You could use a particular essential oil or scented candle, the scent of prosperity, that you only use during your visualization time. You could hold a physical object that represents your goal, a symbolic key, a high-quality pen, a crisp new banknote. By combining these sensory triggers, you create a powerful ritual that signals to your brain and body that it is time to step into your future reality. Let's use the example of manifesting a successful and fulfilling business. Your mind's eye movie could be a scene of you sitting at your desk, opening your laptop, and seeing an email that contains the best news you could imagine. Perhaps a notification of a huge sale, a glowing testimonial from a happy client, or an offer for a dream partnership. Now you must direct this movie with sensory richness. As you close your eyes, see the scene with vivid color and detail. See the light from your desk lamp reflecting on the screen. See the exact words in the email. Hear the sounds in the room, the soft hum of your computer, the quiet ticking of a clock. Hear the sound of your own voice as you read the news aloud. Perhaps you let out a laugh of pure joy and relief. Then, and most importantly, you must flood the scene with emotion. Feel the wave of pride and accomplishment washing over you. Feel the deep sense of gratitude for your clients and your success. Feel the exhilarating excitement for the future. This feeling is the magic ingredient. It is the energy that charges the visualization and impresses it upon your subconscious mind. This practice should be a non-negotiable part of your daily routine, as essential as brushing your teeth. The best times to run your mind's eye movie are in the morning, just after waking, and at night, just before falling asleep. In these moments, your brain is naturally in a more relaxed and receptive alpha brainwave state, which allows the visualization to bypass the critical, analytical mind and sink directly into the subconscious. Consistency is more important than duration. A focused, emotionally charged 5-minute visualization every single day is far more powerful than a sporadic, hour-long session once a month. Consider the story of an entrepreneur named Jason, who was trying to secure funding for his new tech startup. He was filled with anxiety, and his presentations to investors were nervous and unconvincing. He decided to commit to the daily practice of visualization. His mind's eye movie was the moment after a successful pitch. He saw himself shaking hands with the lead investor, seeing the confident, impressed look on her face. He heard her say the words, "Congratulations, Jason, we're in." He rehearsed the feeling of profound relief and exhilarating validation. He ran this movie every single morning without fail. The practice began to change him. Because he had already experienced success in his mind dozens of times, the real-world meetings became less intimidating. He started walking into pitches with the quiet confidence of someone who already knew the outcome. His energy shifted from needy to powerful. This new, confident energy was magnetic, and after a month of consistent practice, the scene from his mind's eye movie played out in his physical reality, almost exactly as he had imagined it. You are now consistently impressing the image and feeling of your desire onto the fertile ground of your mind. This daily rehearsal is building the inner reality that must precede the outer one. But what happens when this powerful new vision collides with the old, deep-seated beliefs that say, "This isn't for you," or "You don't deserve this"? How do you resolve the internal conflict that can arise between your new vision and your old programming? In the next chapter, we will master the third step of the method, aligning your core beliefs with your desired outcomes, systematically removing the invisible barriers to your success. Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 3. Aligning beliefs with desired outcomes. You do not get what you want in life. You get what you subconsciously believe you deserve. This is one of the most fundamental and often challenging truths of manifestation. You can have the clearest desire and the most vivid visualization, but if there is a deep, underlying belief within you that contradicts that desire, you will find yourself in a state of self-sabotage. It is like trying to build a magnificent skyscraper on a cracked and unstable foundation. No matter how beautiful the design, the structure is destined to crumble. Your beliefs are the foundation of your reality. They are the invisible operating system that runs in the background of your mind, dictating what you perceive as possible and what you believe you are worthy of receiving. The third step in this manifestation method is to become a conscious architect of this foundation, to systematically identify and align your core beliefs with the new reality you are creating. The primary challenge is that most of our limiting beliefs operate on an unconscious level. They were installed in our childhood long before we had the critical awareness to question them. These beliefs, such as, I'm not good enough, you have to work hard to be successful, money is the root of all evil, or I'm not lucky, act as an invisible fence around our current reality. We can see our desire on the other side of the fence, we can visualize it and feel it, but every time we get close, our unconscious belief system pulls us back, keeping us safely within the familiar territory of what we have always known. This is especially true for our identity-level beliefs. These are the beliefs not just about what we can do, but about who we are. A belief like, I can't make a lot of money, is a capability belief. A belief like, I am not the kind of person who is wealthy, is an identity belief. The latter is far more powerful and resistant to change because it is tied to our very sense of self. A core part of this step is to uncover these deep I am and I am not statements that are secretly running your life, and to consciously craft a new, empowering identity that is in perfect alignment with your desires. The goal is not to fight these beliefs, but to bring them into the light of your awareness, to understand them, and to consciously choose to replace them with new, more empowering beliefs that support the life you are now choosing to build. This process begins with belief discovery. You must become a detective of your own mind, searching for the hidden programs that may be blocking your progress. A powerful exercise for this is to take out a piece of paper and create 2 columns. At the top of the left column, write your core desire. At the top of the right column, write but. Now, in the left column, write down a powerful statement of your desire as if it is already true, such as, I am joyfully and easily attracting a new level of prosperity into my life. Then in the right column, immediately write down the first automatic contradictory thought that pops into your head. It might be, but I've never been good with money. Or, but the economy is bad. Or, but what if I fail? Do not judge these buts. They are pure gold. They are the voices of your limiting beliefs, revealing themselves to you. Continue this process, writing down different aspects of your desire and honestly recording the limiting beliefs that surface. To dig deeper to the identity level, ask yourself, what kind of person would I have to believe I am to keep experiencing this lack? This might reveal core identity beliefs like, I am a person who always struggles, or I am someone who doesn't deserve ease. Once you have a list of your primary limiting beliefs, the next step is belief reframing. For every limiting belief you have identified, you must now create a new, empowering belief, a reframe, that you will consciously choose to install in its place. A powerful reframe is not a simple negation of the old belief. It is a new, positive, and expansive statement that feels both inspiring and believable to you. For instance, if your limiting belief is, I've never been good with money, a powerful reframe might be, I am learning every day to become a masterful and responsible steward of my financial abundance. If your limiting identity belief is, I am a person who always struggles, your new identity statement must be a powerful counter-declaration. I am a person who embraces ease and finds clever, efficient pathways to success. Write these new, empowering beliefs down. These are the blueprints for your new foundation. Now comes the most important part, anchoring these new beliefs so they become your default. A belief is simply a thought that has been practiced over and over again, supported by legs of past experiences, which act as reference points. To dismantle the old belief, you must question its reference points. To build the new belief, you must create new reference points. This is where your evidence log comes in. This is a journal where your sole task is to actively hunt for and record any shred of evidence, no matter how small, that proves your new empowering beliefs are true. If your new belief is, I am a magnet for opportunities, and a friend sends you an interesting article, write it down as evidence. If your new belief is, I am learning to be great with money, and you successfully stick to your budget for a day, write it down as evidence. This practice consciously directs your brain's filtering system, the reticular activating system, to search for proof that your new beliefs are valid. The more evidence you collect, the faster your subconscious mind will accept the new belief as the truth. Consider the story of a woman named Sarah who wanted to start her own coaching business, but was blocked by a deep-seated belief that it's not safe to be visible and successful. Through the belief discovery exercise, she traced this back to a childhood experience of being teased after winning a school competition. She had created a belief that success leads to negative attention. She also uncovered an identity belief. I am someone who is meant to play small. Her reframe was profound. It is safe and joyful for me to share my gifts with the world, and my success inspires both myself and others. Her new identity statement became, I am a confident and inspiring leader. She started her evidence log. A kind comment on a social media post was evidence that it was safe to be visible. A friend telling her that her advice had helped them was evidence that her success inspired others. These small pieces of evidence began to chip away at the old fear. As her new belief grew stronger, she found the courage to host a small, free workshop. The positive feedback she received was a massive piece of evidence. This momentum continued, and she gradually built a thriving business, all because she had systematically dismantled the old foundation of fear and built a new one of an empowering truth. Your desires need a solid foundation to grow upon. By aligning your beliefs with your outcomes, you are creating a fertile, supportive inner ground, free from the weeds of old limitations. You now have the clear blueprint, the daily mental rehearsal, and an aligned belief system that supports your vision. But a brilliant plan and a strong foundation are nothing without the builders who will construct the reality. How do you bridge the gap between all of this powerful inner work and the tangible results you seek in the outer world? In the next chapter, we will master the fourth crucial step of the method, the art of taking consistent, inspired action. Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 4. Taking Consistent, Inspired Action Steps. The universe is a river of energy, constantly flowing and creating. A desire that remains only in the mind, without any connection to physical action, is like a boat sitting on the dry riverbank. It may be a beautiful boat, perfectly designed and ready to sail, but without being placed in the current, it goes nowhere. Action is the process of placing your boat into the river. It is the bridge between your inner world of intention and your outer world of results. It is the declaration to the universe that you are not just a dreamer, but a co-creator, ready to participate in the manifestation of your own desires. The fourth step of this method is to learn how to take consistent, inspired action, creating a powerful momentum that will carry you effortlessly toward your goal. The primary challenge people face with action is that they often get stuck in one of two unproductive extremes. The first extreme is inaction. This is the state of the passive dreamer who does all the mindset work, clarifying, visualizing, and affirming, but then sits back and waits for their desire to magically fall from the sky. They are waiting for the boat to miraculously appear in the water. The second extreme is forced, frantic action, often called hustle culture. This is the state of the anxious striver who, out of a deep-seated fear that it will not happen otherwise, tries to single-handedly force their desire into existence through sheer effort. They are trying to drag their boat through the forest to reach the river. Both of these approaches are inefficient and come from a place of misunderstanding the creative process. The true path lies in the middle, in the art of inspired action. Inspired action, also known as aligned action, is fundamentally different from hustle. Hustle feels heavy, stressful, and draining. It is driven by the mind's fear and the ego's need for control. It operates from the belief, if I don't make this happen, it won't happen. Inspired action, on the other hand, feels light, exciting, joyful, and magnetic. It is not driven by the mind, but by your intuition, your inner guidance system. It comes from a place of trust and alignment, with the belief, I am being guided toward my goal, and I am a joyful participant in the process. The universe is infinitely intelligent and always moves along the path of least energetic resistance. Inspired action is your personal access to that path. It is the universe's way of whispering the next most efficient and effective step to you. When you try to force an outcome through hustle, you are often trying to carve a new path through a dense jungle with a small knife. It is exhausting, inefficient, and works against the natural flow of energy. When you follow an inspired action, you are stepping onto a clear, open path that has been prepared for you. It feels easy and flowing because it is the most direct route. An important and often overlooked form of inspired action is the action of non-action. Sometimes, after you ask for guidance, the strongest and most persistent intuitive nudge you receive is to wait, to rest, to do nothing at all. This can be the most challenging action for a mind conditioned to believe that busyness equals progress, but this inspired non-action is a crucial part of the process. It is a sign that the universe is arranging complex pieces in the background and needs you to stay still so it can do its work. To act prematurely would be to interfere. Trusting the inspired pause is as important as trusting the inspired push. To cultivate this skill, you will incorporate the next inspired step question into your daily practice. Every morning, immediately after you have completed your visualization and feel connected to the energy of your desired outcome, ask yourself this simple question: what is one small, easy, or exciting step I can take today that feels like it is moving me in the direction of my goal? This is a crucial distinction from a typical to-do list. A to-do list is often filled with stressful shoulds and overwhelming tasks that come from the logical mind. An inspired action list contains only the 1 or 2 steps that arose from your intuitive guidance and that genuinely feel good to you. To help you distinguish between true inspiration and the fearful voice of the ego, you can use a quick inspiration test. First, the body test. Does the thought of this action make your body feel expansive and light or contracted and heavy? Second, the repetition test. Has this idea been recurring gently and persistently over time, or is it a loud, frantic, one-time demand? Third, the joy test. Is there a feeling of curiosity, excitement, or simple joy attached to the idea, or a feeling of pressure and obligation? True inspiration will almost always pass these tests. Consider the story of a writer named Michael who wanted to manifest a publishing deal for his novel. His first instinct was forced action. He created a massive, stressful spreadsheet of 100 literary agents and set a goal to send out 10 query letters a day. The process felt heavy and draining, and he received only rejections. Frustrated, he decided to try the inspired action approach. After his morning visualization, he asked the next inspired step question. The answer that came was not, "Send more query letters." It was a quiet, persistent nudge to visit a small, independent bookstore in a nearby town that he had always wanted to see. His logical mind argued that this was a waste of time, but the idea felt light and exciting, so he decided to trust it. He spent a wonderful afternoon at the bookstore, and as he was about to leave, he struck up a conversation with the owner. He mentioned he was a writer, and the owner, as it turned out, was hosting a small local author event that evening, and one of the authors had just canceled. He invited Michael to take the spot. Michael, terrified but knowing this was a clear sign, agreed. He gave a heartfelt reading from his novel. After the event, a woman approached him and told him how much his story had moved her. She said, "My sister is an editor at a publishing house. You have to let me send your manuscript to her." That one, inspired, illogical step of visiting a bookstore did more for his career than all the hundreds of forced query letters combined. By following your intuitive nudges, you are allowing the universe to guide you along the path of least resistance. You are stepping into a state of flow where synchronicities become normal and opportunities appear at the perfect moment. This does not mean you will never have to do things that are challenging. But even challenging actions will feel different when they are inspired. There will be an underlying sense of purpose and rightness to them. Your daily practice is now fourfold. You clarify your desire, you visualize your outcome, you align your beliefs, and you take the next inspired action step. You are now fully engaged in the co-creative dance, your inner alignment powering your outer actions, creating an unstoppable momentum. You are now in motion. But what is the invisible energy, the magnetic force field, that holds all of these steps together and truly supercharges your results? What does it mean to stop doing these steps and start being the person who has already achieved the goal? In the next chapter, we will explore the fifth and final core step of the method, embodying the powerful energy of abundance. Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 5, Embodying the Energy of Abundance. You do not attract what you want in life, you attract who you are being. This may be the most profound and transformative truth in the entire study of manifestation. You can perform all the steps, clarify your desires, visualize with passion, align your beliefs, and take inspired action, but if your underlying moment-to-moment state of being is one of lack, worry, or unworthiness, your results will be inconsistent at best. The first 4 steps of our method are the powerful actions you do. This fifth and final step is about who you choose to be. It is the art of integration, of closing the gap between the person you are now and the person you wish to become. It is about embodying the energy of your desire so completely that its physical manifestation is no longer a surprise, but an inevitability. It is the shift from actively chasing prosperity to passively magnetizing it through your very presence. The core challenge here is that most people compartmentalize their manifestation practice. They do their abundance work for 15 minutes in the morning, and then for the remaining 23 hours and 45 minutes of the day, they embody the energy of their old reality. They think thoughts of lack, speak words of complaint, and carry themselves with the posture of someone who is struggling. This creates a deeply inconsistent and confusing signal to the universe. It is like trying to navigate to a new destination while constantly spinning your car in circles. To understand why embodiment is so critical, think of your energy as your vibrational set point. This is your default emotional home, the frequency you most naturally resonate at. If your set point is tuned to anxiety and scarcity, that is the reality you will consistently experience, regardless of your occasional efforts to feel otherwise. The practice of embodiment is the conscious and consistent effort to raise this vibrational set point. Every small conscious choice you make throughout the day to feel more abundant, more grateful, or more joyful is like a repetition in an energetic workout, strengthening your ability to hold a higher frequency until that higher frequency becomes your new normal, your new home. The fifth step, embodiment, is about consciously choosing to hold the energy and identity of your future self throughout your entire day. It is about making abundance your default state, not just a temporary state you visit during your morning ritual. This practice is centered on the powerful principle of acting as if. This does not mean being fake or financially irresponsible. It is not about buying things you cannot afford to pretend you are wealthy. It is about adopting the internal state, the thoughts, feelings, attitudes, and physical posture of the person who has already achieved the desire you seek. A powerful way to reinforce this is through your daily language. Your words are not just descriptors of your reality, they are creators of it. An abundant person speaks a different language than a person rooted in lack. Begin to monitor your conversational language and upgrade it. For instance, instead of saying, "I can't afford that," which is a declaration of lack, you can say, "I'm choosing to allocate my resources elsewhere right now," which is a statement of empowered choice. Instead of saying, "I have to go to work," which implies victimhood, try, "I get to go create value and receive abundance at my job today," which implies opportunity and gratitude. Transforming problems into challenges or opportunities for growth is another simple yet profound linguistic shift. This conscious upgrade of your daily vocabulary is a powerful way to embody the mindset of a prosperous individual. To begin this practice, ask yourself this powerful question frequently throughout your day. How would the version of me who has already achieved my goal be acting right now? How would that person handle this traffic jam? How would they respond to this critical email? How would they walk into this meeting? How would they make this small decision about what to eat for lunch? The version of you who is prosperous, successful, and fulfilled would likely handle a traffic jam with patience, not rage. They would respond to a critical email with calm professionalism, not defensiveness. They would walk into a meeting with quiet confidence, not nervous energy. They would choose a healthy, energizing lunch, not a cheap, unsatisfying one, because they value their well-being. By consistently choosing the actions and reactions of your future self, you begin to collapse the timeline between who you are and who you want to be. A crucial part of embodying abundance is curating your physical environment. Your outer world is a direct reflection of your inner world. An abundant and prosperous being does not live in a state of chaos and clutter. One of the most powerful aligned actions you can take to embody abundance is to meticulously clean and organize your home and workspace. Decluttering is a profound, energetic act. As you clear out old objects that you no longer use or love, you are sending a powerful signal to the universe that you are making space for the new to enter. As you organize your desk or your finances, you are embodying the energy of a person who is a capable and responsible steward of their life. You do not need to have expensive things to have an abundant environment. You simply need to treat the things you do have with respect and care. Surround yourself with things that make you feel good, even if they are free, like fresh flowers from a garden, beautiful stones from a walk, or simply an environment that is clean, orderly, and filled with light. Let us explore the story of a woman named Anna who wanted to attract a loving and prosperous partner. She had been doing the first 4 steps diligently, but felt that something was missing. She realized she was doing the work, but was still being a person who felt lonely and unworthy of a great relationship. She decided to focus on embodiment. She asked herself, how would the version of me who is in a deeply loving and respectful relationship act? She realized that person would treat herself with deep love and respect. So she began to take herself on artist dates, visiting museums and cafes that she loved. She stopped saving her nice clothes for a special occasion and began wearing them just for herself. She curated her apartment to feel like a beautiful and romantic sanctuary for one. She began her days with an abundant morning, mindfully savoring her coffee instead of rushing, choosing an outfit that made her feel radiant, and listening to uplifting music instead of the negative morning news. She also began to practice the energy of generosity, a key trait of an abundant being. A person who knows they are loved does not hoard their affection. They give it freely. Anna started giving more genuine compliments to strangers, leaving positive comments online, and being a more supportive friend. She was not doing these things to get a partner. She was doing them because they were an authentic expression of the loving person she was choosing to be. This shift in her state of being was palpable. She began to radiate a quiet confidence and a warm, generous energy. It was this magnetic energy that a few months later attracted a wonderful partner who was a perfect reflection of the love and respect she had first learned to give to herself. She did not attract what she wanted. She attracted who she had become. Embodying the energy of abundance is the capstone of this 5-step method. It integrates all the previous steps into a new way of life. Your clear desire becomes the compass for your state of being. Your visualization becomes the rehearsal for your daily embodiment. Your aligned beliefs provide the foundation for your new identity, and your inspired actions become the natural expression of the abundant person you now are. This is the ultimate goal, to make prosperity so familiar, so normal, and so deeply integrated into your being that you no longer have to actively try to manifest it. It simply becomes the natural result of who you are. You now hold the complete 5-step method for your daily manifestation practice. But what happens when you are applying all the steps and you hit an invisible wall? When your progress stalls and the old familiar doubts begin to creep back in, telling you that this is not working? In the next chapter, we will learn how to diagnose and break through the inevitable resistance and the deep limiting patterns that can arise on your journey to success. Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 6: Overcoming Resistance and Limiting Patterns. Imagine a powerful rocket launching toward the moon. As it ascends through the atmosphere, it faces its moment of maximum dynamic pressure, the point where the resistance of the air pushing against the accelerating rocket is at its most intense. This is a critical and unavoidable phase of the journey. The rocket must have the structural integrity and the thrust to push through this barrier of resistance to reach the frictionless vacuum of space. Your journey of manifestation is no different. As you begin to accelerate toward your desires, leaving the gravitational pull of your old reality behind, you will inevitably encounter your own moments of maximum resistance. This is the point where your progress can seem to stall, where doubts feel overwhelming, and where the urge to turn back is strongest. This is a manifestation plateau. The primary challenge when you hit this plateau is the interpretation of it. Most people interpret resistance as a sign of failure. They think, this must not be working, or I'm not doing it right, or this isn't meant for me. This misinterpretation causes them to cut power to their engines, give up on their practice, and fall back into the familiar comfort of their old reality. But a master manifester understands the truth. Resistance is not a sign that you are doing something wrong. It is a sign that you are doing something profoundly right. It is evidence that you are truly pushing beyond the boundaries of your comfort zone. The resistance you feel is the friction generated by your old belief system, as it is being stretched and overwritten by your new, more expansive reality. This resistance often comes from what can be called a shadow belief. This is a deep, unconscious belief that we are often not aware of and might even consciously deny holding. A very common shadow belief is a fear of success. Consciously, you want to succeed. But unconsciously, a part of you might believe that success will have negative consequences, that you will be judged, that you will lose your current friends, that you will have more responsibility and stress, or that you will no longer belong to your family or community if you become too different. To uncover these shadow beliefs, you can use a powerful journaling exercise. Ask yourself these probing questions. What is the secret negative consequence I'm afraid might happen if I fully achieve this desire? Who might I leave behind if I become this new version of myself? What part of my current identity am I afraid of losing? Answering these questions with radical honesty can reveal the hidden fears that are creating your resistance. Overcoming this resistance is not about applying more force, but about understanding its nature and using specific tools to dissolve it. One of the most common forms of resistance is the emergence of a deep, recurring, self-sabotaging pattern. To overcome it, you must first become a pattern detective. Look back at your life. Is there a familiar script that seems to play out whenever you get close to a new level of success or happiness? Perhaps you have a pattern of procrastination, where you suddenly lose all motivation right before a major deadline. Perhaps you have a pattern of picking fights with supportive people, creating drama that distracts you from your goal. Or perhaps you have a pattern of forgetting to do your daily manifestation practice the moment things start going well. These are not random acts of laziness or carelessness. They are sophisticated defense mechanisms deployed by your subconscious mind to keep you safe from the unknown. This phenomenon is often referred to as the upper limit problem. Each of us has an unconscious internal thermostat that dictates how much success, love, and abundance we feel we are allowed to experience. This setting is usually programmed in childhood. When your life begins to exceed this internal setting, when you start to feel too good, or when your success feels too easy, an internal alarm goes off. Your subconscious mind, in an attempt to restore the familiar feeling of your old reality, will trigger one of your go-to self-sabotaging patterns to bring your level of success back down to its comfortable set point. The key to breaking through this is awareness. When you find yourself engaging in one of your old patterns, instead of judging yourself, you must learn to pause and say with curiosity, there it is. This is just my upper limit problem. This is my old programming trying to pull me back. In that moment of awareness, you have separated yourself from the pattern. You are no longer the pattern. You are the observer of it. Once you have identified the pattern, you can use a powerful tool called a pattern interrupt. A limiting pattern is like a hypnotic trance. It runs on a predictable, automated loop in your brain. To break the trance, you must do something unexpected to interrupt the loop. A pattern interrupt can be a physical action, a mental command, or an environmental shift. If you notice yourself spiraling into a pattern of worry, for example, a physical interrupt could be to stand up, clap your hands loudly, and say, "Stop," out loud. It could be splashing cold water on your face or putting on loud, upbeat music and dancing for 2 minutes. These actions physically jolt your nervous system out of its old groove. A mental interrupt could be to have a pre-planned, powerful question you ask yourself, such as, "What would my most successful future self do right now?" This question immediately shifts your focus from the problem to a solution-oriented state. Consider the story of a man named Mark who was building his own business. He noticed a clear pattern. Every time he landed a major client and felt a surge of success, he would inexplicably get sick with a cold or flu, forcing him to lose a week of work and killing his momentum. He recognized this as his upper limit problem, a pattern his body used to sabotage his success. Through the shadow belief exercise, he uncovered a deep fear that if he became too successful, his family, who had always struggled, would feel jealous and he would become disconnected from them. This hidden fear was the root of his pattern. The next time he closed a big deal and felt that familiar tickle in his throat, he deployed a pattern interrupt. He stopped everything, put on his favorite comedy special, and allowed himself to laugh for a solid hour, flooding his body with positive endorphins. He then addressed the shadow belief directly, affirming, "My success inspires my family and shows them what is possible. My abundance allows me to be even more generous and connected with them." He then asked himself the powerful question, "What would the healthy, successful CEO version of me do right in this moment?" The answer was clear. He would not succumb to sickness. He would nourish his body. He made himself a healthy meal, drank a lot of water, and went to bed early, all while visualizing himself as vibrant and healthy. The next morning, the symptoms were gone. He had consciously interrupted and overwritten the old self-sabotaging pattern. Resistance is a sign of growth. Plateaus are launch pads for your next quantum leap. By learning to recognize your limiting patterns, to interrupt them consciously, and to expand your capacity for joy and success, you become a master of your own evolution. You've now learned how to smash through your plateaus and dissolve the resistance that holds you back. Your energy is flowing freely and powerfully once again. But on this journey, how do you maintain your motivation and keep your focus laser sharp? How do you fuel your spirit with the positive reinforcement needed to see this process through to the end? In the next chapter, we will explore the joyful and absolutely essential practice of tracking your progress and celebrating all evidence of your unfolding success. Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 7. Tracking Progress and Celebrating Evidence. Imagine you are on a grand treasure hunt. The map you hold promises a chest filled with gold at a distant location. As you begin your journey, you find the first clue, a small, intricately carved wooden bird, exactly as the map described. What do? Do you cast it aside, complaining that it is not the gold, and trudge on with a heavy heart? Or do you pick it up with a sense of excitement and triumph, recognizing it as a vital sign that you are on the correct path, and use its discovery to fuel your motivation for the next leg of the journey? The choice is obvious. Yet, on the journey of manifestation, most people act like the first treasure hunter. They set a big goal, and if that exact goal does not appear instantly, they ignore all the small, magical clues the universe sends them along the way. They disregard the synchronicities, dismiss the small wins, and overlook the serendipitous encounters, all because it is not the final treasure chest. This is a critical error that can starve a manifestation of the positive energy it needs to come to fruition. The 7th step in our method is to consciously reverse this process. It is the art of becoming a masterful evidence collector and a joyful celebrator of your progress. This practice is not a frivolous indulgence. It is an essential part of the manifestation algorithm. It serves 2 profound purposes. First, on a psychological level, it creates a powerful positive reinforcement loop. Your brain is wired to repeat actions that lead to pleasure and reward. When you consciously acknowledge and celebrate the small signs of your success, you are giving your brain a shot of dopamine, the neurochemical of reward and motivation. This makes the entire process of manifestation feel good, which in turn makes you want to continue your daily practice with enthusiasm rather than seeing it as a chore. Second, on an energetic level, tracking and celebrating your progress sends a powerful, unambiguous signal of gratitude and acknowledgement back to the universe. Each celebration is a vibrational thank you, a declaration that you are paying attention, that you are a grateful receiver, and that you are ready for more. This act of appreciation powerfully accelerates the manifestation process. The core challenge is that our brains are naturally wired with a negativity bias, a primal survival mechanism that causes us to pay more attention to threats and problems than to positive events. You can receive 10 compliments and 1 criticism in a day, and the criticism is the one you will likely dwell on. To become a master manifester, you must consciously override this default programming. You must train your brain to actively hunt for the good, to search for the evidence of your success with the same intensity it once used to search for problems. The central tool for this practice is the evidence journal. This is not a diary of your daily events. It is a dedicated logbook of your manifestation successes. Every single evening, before you go to sleep, your non-negotiable task is to write down at least 3 pieces of evidence, no matter how small, that you observed that day that prove your desire is on its way to you. What constitutes evidence? It can be anything that feels like a sign, a synchronicity, or a small step in the right direction. If you are manifesting financial abundance, the evidence could be finding a coin on the sidewalk, receiving an unexpected refund, getting a free coffee, or even just having a brilliant new business idea. If you are manifesting a new relationship, the evidence could be hearing a couple share a beautiful story, seeing a movie that fills you with romantic hope, or receiving a genuine compliment from a stranger. These are the small clues on your treasure map. The act of writing them down solidifies their importance in your mind. But writing them down is only the first part. For each piece of evidence you record, you must perform a small, immediate act of celebration. This anchors the positive experience in your nervous system. A celebration does not have to be a grand party. It can be a simple physical act. As you write down, "I found $1 on the street today," you might perform a silent fist pump. As you write, "I had a great conversation with a potential new client," you might say, "Yes, thank you," out loud. The key is to generate a genuine spike of positive emotion, a mini burst of the feeling you will have when your ultimate goal is achieved. Let's follow the story of a woman named Laura, who was manifesting her dream apartment in a very competitive neighborhood. For weeks, she saw no movement, and she was starting to feel discouraged. She decided to commit fully to the evidence journal practice. On the first day, the only evidence she could find was that she saw an ad online for her favorite brand of sofa, the exact one she imagined for her new living room. She wrote it down and did a little happy dance in her kitchen. The next day, she was walking in her target neighborhood and saw a moving truck outside her dream building. She wrote it down, evidence that people are moving, creating an opening for me, and celebrated by treating herself to her favorite tea. A few days later, while cleaning her old apartment, she found a single, antique-looking key at the back of a drawer. She had no idea where it came from. She wrote in her journal, "I found a key. This is a sign that the key to my new home is on its way." And she felt a genuine thrill of excitement. These small acts of tracking and celebrating did something profound. They kept her in a consistently high vibration, hopeful, and receptive state. She was no longer operating from a place of lack or impatience. She was in a playful and trusting state of co-creation with the universe. It was in this joyful state that she decided to check the rental listings one more time, even after being told there was nothing available. At that exact moment, a new listing for her dream apartment had just been posted due to a last-minute cancellation. Because she was in an aligned and positive state, she was the first person to call and secure the apartment. Your evidence journal will become your personal book of proof. On days when you feel doubtful or your faith wavers, you can read back through its pages and be reminded of all the magical, synchronous ways the universe has been supporting you. It will become a powerful tool for overcoming the resistance we discussed in the last chapter. By focusing on what is going right, you starve your doubts of the attention they need to survive. You are now actively engaged in a joyful feedback loop with the universe. Your daily practice is generating evidence, and your celebration of that evidence is generating more positive momentum. The final step is to make this powerful new way of being a permanent part of your life. How do you turn this conscious practice into an unconscious habit? In our final chapter, we will learn how to sustain your prosperity through powerful rituals and routines. Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 8: Sustaining Prosperity Through Ritual and Routine. A musician who wants to achieve mastery does not just practice their instrument when they feel inspired, they make it a daily, non-negotiable ritual. A gardener who wants a beautiful, thriving garden does not just tend to it once. They consistently water, weed, and nourish it, making its care a natural part of their routine. The same is true for the art of manifestation. Attracting a single desire is a wonderful achievement, but creating a lifetime of sustained prosperity, joy, and fulfillment requires that the conscious techniques you have learned become an effortless and integrated part of your daily life. The final step in our method is to move from actively doing the practice to unconsciously being a prosperous person. It is about transforming these 5 steps from a temporary project into a permanent and powerful personal ritual. The primary challenge after achieving a significant goal is the rebound effect. The excitement of the initial manifestation fades, and the discipline required for the daily practice can begin to wane. Without the clear target to focus on, it is easy to slip back into old habits of thought, old patterns of belief, and old ways of being. This is not a personal failure. It is the simple inertia of a lifetime of old programming attempting to reassert itself. To counteract this, you must consciously and deliberately create a new structure for your life, a set of rituals and routines that automate your abundance and make prosperity your new default setting. To do this, we must introduce the principle of compounding. Just like money in a savings account, the positive energy and alignment you invest in your daily ritual compounds over time. The results of the first week of your practice might be small and subtle, but the results after a year of consistent daily practice will be exponentially greater than the sum of their parts. Each day, you are building on the success of the last, creating an unstoppable momentum of abundance. You are not just creating a single outcome, you are building energetic wealth that will pay dividends for the rest of your life. This understanding is what will keep you committed to the practice long after the novelty has worn off. Prosperity is not a destination you arrive at one day. It is a lifestyle you choose to cultivate, moment by moment. The cornerstone of this new lifestyle is the creation of your personalized prosperity ritual. This is a dedicated, protected time every single morning where you will perform a condensed version of the 5-step method. This ritual should be no more than 15 to 20 minutes, but it must be consistent. This is your time to set your energetic and mental tone for the entire day. Your ritual could look something like this. You wake up, and before checking your phone or engaging with the outside world, you find a quiet space. For the first 2 minutes, step 1, clarify, you will review your current, most important desire. You will read aloud the sensory blueprint or intention statement you have crafted for it, reconnecting with your why. For the next 5 minutes, step 2, visualize. You will run your mind's eye movie, immersing yourself in the feeling of your wish already fulfilled. For the next 3 minutes, step 3, align. You will speak aloud your most powerful, empowering beliefs and affirmations, consciously overriding any lingering doubts. For the next 2 minutes, step 4, act. You will ask the next inspired step question and listen for the intuitive guidance for your day, writing down the 1 or 2 actions that come to you. Finally, for the last 3 minutes, step 5, embody. You will sit in a state of deep gratitude, feeling the energy of abundance, and giving thanks for the successes that are already on their way. This simple, structured morning ritual acts as the rudder for your day. It ensures that you begin your day from a place of conscious creation, focus, and alignment, rather than from a place of reaction to the demands of the world. To complement this, you can create a short 5-minute evening reset routine. Before you go to sleep, you will take out your evidence journal and perform the practices from the last chapter, recording your wins for the day and celebrating them. You will then consciously release any worries or stresses from the day, handing them over to the universe, and drift off to sleep while repeating your core affirmation or replaying your mind's eye movie. This evening routine clears your energy and programs your subconscious mind to continue working on your behalf while you sleep. By bookending your day with these powerful and positive rituals, you create a 24-hour cycle of continuous, deliberate creation. To ensure you do not stagnate, it is wise to implement a quarterly reality review. Every 3 months, schedule an hour with yourself to review your progress and recalibrate your intentions. First, acknowledge and appreciate. Read through your journals and celebrate all the growth and manifestations of the past quarter. Second, release and recalibrate. Consciously let go of any goals that no longer feel exciting or aligned with who you've become. Third, clarify and expand. Set new, exciting, and slightly more expansive intentions for the next quarter, and create a new, updated sensory blueprint for them. This structured review process ensures that you are always growing, always expanding, and always giving your powerful creative mind a compelling future to move toward. Let's conclude with the story of Clara, the aspiring writer. 6 months after her initial success of securing her first publishing deal, the book was released and became a modest bestseller. The initial euphoria was immense, but then the old fears of what's next began to surface. Instead of falling back into old patterns, she leaned into her daily prosperity ritual. It was her anchor in the sea of change. She performed it every morning without fail. At her first quarterly reality review, she acknowledged the incredible success of her book with deep gratitude. She then looked ahead. Her next desire was not just to write another book, but something deeper. She realized her new soul desire was to help other aspiring writers find their voice. Her new intention became the creation of a scholarship and mentorship program for underprivileged writers, funded by the profits of her books. She created a new sensory blueprint, visualizing herself mentoring a young, talented writer and seeing their first book in a store. This new, larger purpose filled her with an incredible sense of passion and inspiration. Her daily ritual was no longer about her own success, but about her contribution. This shift from a personal to a transpersonal goal unlocked a new, even more powerful level of abundance in her life. This is the ultimate promise of the 5-step manifestation method. It is not just a tool to get you something you want. It is a daily practice that over time transforms who you are at the deepest level. The consistent application of these 5 steps, clarify, visualize, align, act, and embody, is the key to unlocking not just a single desire, but a lifetime of ever-expanding prosperity, joy, and fulfillment. You are the architect, the artist, and the author of your life. This method is your pen, your paintbrush, and your blueprint. Our journey through the 5-step manifestation method is now complete. We began by learning the foundational importance of clarifying our desires with absolute precision. We then moved into the creative workshop of the mind, making visualization a powerful daily practice. We did the crucial work of aligning our deep-seated beliefs with our desired outcomes, removing the invisible barriers to success. We learned to bridge the inner and outer worlds by taking consistent, inspired action. And finally, we integrated it all by learning to embody the very energy of the abundance we seek. This 5-step process is a simple, practical, and powerful daily routine for a lifetime of conscious creation. Thank you for taking this time and investing this energy in yourself. We are so grateful to have been a part of your journey. To continue your growth, remember to like this video, comment with the desire you are manifesting, and subscribe to Success Attraction Formula.